For the captains of CNU, 2 wins in 2 games has them on the fast track to being national champions in 2022, standing in their way. The national champions of 2019, the runners-up from last year, the only team back from last year's field here in Salem, the Bulldogs of TLU, who faced elimination not once but twice yesterday and passed the test. Their season still going strong. Today, it's CNU, the number 1 seed, TLU, the 4 seed. CNU only has to beat the Bulldogs once. The Bulldogs, if they can hand the captains more losses than the captains have had all year long, the Bulldogs will be playing in the National Championship Series beginning tomorrow against either Trine or Berry. Lincoln Rose, Sydney Gearbrack back with you. And Sydney, yesterday we had 8 teams. Things have thinned out in Salem, Virginia. We are down to 4. The Bulldogs, the captains, 2 of those teams. A reminder, CNU is now 44 wins to just 1 loss all year. So as mentioned, in case it didn't land with some people, for them not to be playing in that championship series tomorrow, they have to lose more games in 1 day than they've lost on their entire schedule this year.
And it's true, Lincoln. The Bulldogs do have a tall task to beat the captains here today. Not just beat them once, but beat them twice in order to stay in this tournament. But I think the captains are confident. They've got 2 freshman pitchers. They've had that senior leadership on their team all year long that have got them to this moment. They're trusting themselves even in late innings. It'll be a great matchup today here in Salem.
You see warming up there in the circle, it is Jamie Martin who gets the nod. As Jamie, first time we saw her was back on opening day against WPI as she would go 3 innings in relief for a save. We're seeing a lot of talented arms, a lot of talented options. As Martin, the All-American, as just a freshman, National Pitcher of the Year. Wonder what she'll do for, pardon me, National Freshman of the Year. Wonder what she'll do for an encore for the rest of her career.
Well, and Martin, we saw struggle a little bit in that first game against the WPI Engineers. Really used to thriving in that starting role. Kate Alger got the nod for that game to start off this tournament, but Martin in the spot where we've seen her the most this year. And she's actually the one pitcher, the lone pitcher on this squad that has a loss, has the 1 loss on the year for the captains.
And yet they let her back.
You expect a lot of junk from Martin. Mixes speeds nicely.
Coach Keith Parr at the helm of his alma mater. 19 years as head coach, 23 years total with this program, 632 wins. He's hoping for a few more this week. Kelly Jordan leads things off. Yesterday she became the all-time leader in a single season with stolen bases. She's already the all-time career leader. Her 74th stolen base of the season gave her the mark all to her lonesome, breaking the tie with somebody she faced last year in the championship series, Jessica Golden.
Kelly Jordan, very much one of the stories of this Bulldog offense. I said yesterday was a bit of the Kelly Jordan show with all of the base running. We saw her do incredibly crafty on the bases. Of course, leading off a catalytic player for the Bulldog offense. She's generating a lot and being true to herself, true to her brand of softball, and a lot of fun to watch yesterday.
In Kelly Jordan, if she can get on first base, you're basically giving her access to home plate.
Mm-hmm. She'll find a way to take those extra 120 feet.
Now, she was caught stealing officially once yesterday, but that took a review process, and it was pretty darn close. Slaps right back to the pitcher. Martin swats it down, and that is a big win for Martin, as Kelly Jordan will have to go back to the dugout.
And a tough break there for Martin. Looks like she gets hit right in the collarbone, maybe right in the chest.
Yeah, I had that ball shot right back to her. Are you comfortable asking the umbrella to... Just the green and black. And again, concern right now for Martin. Understandably, always a scary moment when that ball gets right back to you. As Kelly Jordan retired for the opening out. That's the good news. They're hoping Martin can continue. NCNU, if they have it their way, they play one game, move on to tomorrow, and then whether Trine and Barry want to play one or two, that's up to them.
Well, and this is the day that you really see who is going to compete. Saw some great competition yesterday, but ultimately 2 of these teams have a tall order having to beat a team twice if they want to stay in this tournament, and then it resets for our championship 3-game series.
Presumably they'll give her some warm-ups here, but
smiles are always good news.
I don't know if it makes it much better that it's not her pitching arm, because that is all, you're putting it all to use there.
Yeah, pitching is a full body endeavor. You don't have that other half of your body. You can't even out your throwing arm, so.
Martin's from here in Virginia, out of Lorton. There's several vehicles here that have Texas plates for the Bulldogs fans who opted to make the drive, and you never know how long your team's going to stick around. The Bulldogs have been nice enough that for the past couple of tournaments they've stayed until the final day. They won it all in 2019, though that was just up the road in Tyler, Texas. And then ultimately last year made it to the final game, the if necessary game in the championship series. You saw Ed Zarzabal, I believe, in that dugout for the Bulldogs. And here's Madison Johnson. 1 out, nobody on. Kelly Jordan, again, thrown out by Martin at first on the ground out. And we hope Martin able to pick back up where she's left off this week. Maddie Johnson, the sophomore from Central Texas, hitting a little over 400 coming into this week. And more often than not, she has Kelly Jordan on the base paths running around. Her job to facilitate that, sometimes join her. We saw them with a double steal yesterday. No program has stolen more bases in a single season than TLU, in excess of 200. For them, it's just get on any way you can and then torment the defense by forcing them to execute.
Well, and this Bulldog offense is characterized by their tenacity. They're going to be taking their hacks early in the count, used to being the aggressor in many cases. On the base paths is no exception.
Bailey Roberts, your catcher for Jamie Martin. Brooke Griever at third, Natalie Carmichael at short, Maddie Houle second, and Caitlin Hasty your first baseman. Outfielders are Abernathy, Proctor, and Curran from left to right. One test for Martin will be whenever this half inning ends, is whether anything tightens up while she's inactive in that dugout. She'll be trying to stay loose. The 2-2 to Johnson. Got her. Jamie Martin. That's a couple of really big outs at the top of this lineup for TLU.
Yeah, Jordan and Johnson, both tough outs. We've seen how difficult they are to get out from opposing pitchers all tournament long. That's a big swing there from Johnson. We know she's got some pop. Good to see a great response there from Martin after that comebacker from Jordan.
Again, Bulldogs, by losing on the first day, showed up bright and early yesterday in an elimination game. They won convincingly against WPI. After being held to 1 run on the opening day, they were back in business offensively as successfully survived 2 elimination games, knocking out 2 teams along the way. As Casey Martin at the plate for TLU. Martin, your player of the year in the SCAC. Think about that. She has some All-American teammates, but she still earns the respect as the top player. been really clutch in some big moments. Big part of that was she was batting .441 coming into this week. We saw her last year here in Salem when she was 3 for 13 with 3 walks, 3 runs, a stolen base, filling out the box score. And a liner foul.
And Martin going to be really important for this Bulldog offense in terms of her ability to produce RBIs. Also has to rely on the 1-2 punch from Jordan and Johnson. Usually has at least one of them on the base paths at this point.
The 0-2 for Martin with 2 outs. And Wade Wilson at the helm of this Bulldogs program led them to that national championship and really has reinvented the expectations there in Seguin, Texas. He's had a great consistency with his staff. As Martin with 2 outs and nobody on. Right side, Maddie Houle. CNU needs just 1 win today. They would just as soon take care of business right here, facing the Bulldogs of TLU. 3 up, 3 down. They'll grab their bats for the first time. Fans making their way out for a 4th day of NCAA Division III softball here at the championship in Salem, Virginia. Began with 8 teams, 8 tremendous fan bases. Fun to get to know them. Unfortunately, the nature of the tournament, we have trimmed things down to 4. Sydney Wallette gets her 2nd start. We saw her back on Thursday. She did not get as much run support as she is accustomed to. Again, her sister Skylar was on last year's team, wrapping up her career as a national champion and last year as a runner-up. Today, Sydney's time to shine as she faces the captains of CNU. Caitlin Abernathy leads things off. She'll be followed by Bailey Roberts and Caitlin Hasty, the top 3rd of the order for Coach Keith Parr, your coast-to-coast head coach of the year. Abernathy out of Prince George here in Virginia. All-American this year as a senior. Hitting that modest .448 clip coming into this week. Wallet's catcher, Sarah Metzer, with a 2-0. Home plate umpire is John Cambridge for this one. Aaron Golden at first, Jacob Agee at 3rd. 3-0 offering coming up to leadoff hitter for the captains. And unable to deliver the strike. It's a leadoff walk to Abernathy. Now a little different philosophy for CNU, though. Abernathy comes into this week just 7 for 7 in the stolen base department. Here's Bailey Roberts, her classmate. 12 home runs on the year with 40 RBI. You wonder if they don't run quite as much because they don't want to deter RBI opportunities for this woman. Accidentally running it into an out.
Well, and Roberts and Hasty are going to be 2 of the, again, big producers for the captains in terms of their offensive production. 41 RBIs coming into today for Bailey Roberts on the season.
Wade Wilson's known the Wallette family for a long time. He's known a lot of these players in the greater Corpus area. He actually coached Kelly Jordan's older sister Lane in high school. He coached his current assistant coach Olivia Van Hook in high school. Kelly Jordan would actually go on to babysit his kids early in his coaching career. This one pulled foul, 1-1.
I think that's the first strike we've seen Wallette get, which is surprising because coming into this weekend, Sydney Wallette, dominant as a pitcher as there is in Division III, was top 10 in ERA.
The 1-1 shot to the shortstop, Faith Hernandez, looking for that double play. She caught it on the fly, but back in time is Abernathy, and they're fortunate not a dead ball, so Abernathy will stay at first, 1 away. As Roberts lines out to Hernandez.
And Metzer doing a great job of getting behind to support Laura Hernandez over there at first base. Does not give Abernathy the opportunity to take that extra 60 feet.
Well, here's another All-American, Caitlin Hasty. 18 home runs, 16 RBI.
Now, of the teams we've seen this weekend, the captain offense is most likely to rely on the long ball for some of their wins. Comparably to their opponents, they're scoring an average of 8 runs per game all season long. Opponents scoring at 1. So pitchers do a great job for that captain's defense, keeping them off balance. And Hasty again, 63 RBIs on the season.
An 0-2 hole, goes chasing. She cannot take first base. But the runner can advance to second.
Well, sometimes when you swing big, you strike out big. Either way, Abernathy finding a way to take a base.
I'll be controversial early on. I do think there should be a consequence for a runner who can't take first to still running down the line in the midst of live action. Cinder Mill. Caitlin Abernathy is more than welcome to take second on that ball that got by Metzer. So Abernathy in scoring position. Katie Curran at the plate, your cleanup hitter. Sophomore out of Blacksburg, hitting .416 coming into this week with 9 home runs. Slow roller, Wallette gets the third out. So despite the leadoff walk to Caitlin Abernathy, the captain's unable to find a lead here in this potential knockout game where CNU 2-0 has a chance to end the run of the Bulldogs. Scoreless after 1, Jamie Martin back in the circle, and again, we hope this is a sign that she is good to continue. After the first batter she faced, Kelly Jordan lined one right back at her, seemed to get around the collarbone, but ultimately, what did she do? She struck out the next batter, got another ground ball out, had a 3-up, 3-down first inning. Fans who have made their way from the Lone Star State primarily, TLU and Seguin, Texas. That is a little north of San Antonio, south of Austin. Again, 2019 national champions in their first ever trip to the NCAA softball championship in Division III. They were looking to be repeat champions coming back last year. Came up just short. They did force a third game against Virginia Wesleyan, but national title resides here in Virginia. And that's exactly what CNU's trying to do this year as our resident school from 4 hours away. Here's Faith Hernandez, who had a nice squeeze on a lineout over to shortstop last half inning. Faith, just a freshman. All of this is new to her. It's easy for us to forget that when we see some familiar schools coming back year in, year out.
And Faith Hernandez, one of those freshmen that has been consistent with the bat. Didn't necessarily know how she was going to contribute offensively. Has been outstanding for the Bulldogs at short. Not always a guarantee that a great defensive player is going to be great offensively, and Faith Hernandez has been able to get it done.
Second ground ball to Houle here early on. That's 4 straight batters retired for the Bulldogs. We were being told Brooke Childress has come into right field for Katie Curran this inning. We'll be mindful of that when that spot in the lineup comes back. Martin has faced the minimum. Here's Bailey Hudgens, your DP today for TLU. And Hudgens, the junior out of Central Texas, Dripping Springs High School. Saw her in 5 games last year here in Salem, primarily as a pinch hitter, also as an outfielder. Today, DP. Bulldogs last year, their journey was a win against Tufts. They beat DePaul. They beat Birmingham Southern. They had the fast track that CNU's enjoying right now, that Trine will enjoy later today, of going 2-0, already having played 1 fewer game than your opponent. With that said, I just don't think that makes as much of a difference this year. I think most of these teams have the pitching. I don't know that we've seen one dominant team that's going to be able to cruise into that series that starts tomorrow. This one's sky high to the left side. The shortstop Carmichael wants it and has it. 2-1.
That's a great point, Lincoln. Depth of bench, especially offensively. Also, just as important to have depth of bullpen. Many of these teams have, 2 starters in their rotation. Many of them have 4. That they start 2, and then they have a couple sprinkled in relief. Jamie Martin, used to getting the start, actually came in relief in that first game, relieving her fellow freshman pitcher, Kate Alger.
Here's Laura Hernandez, now an everyday starter. Last year had a big pinch hit home run here in Salem. Out of Missouri City. Started her studies at San Jacinto Junior College in Texas. But now back for year 2 as a Bulldog. We talked about CNU, only 1 loss. Bulldogs only have 5 losses, the 5th coming this week. They are 45-5 now, 2-1 this week against the 2-0 captains. That one fought back to the backstop. Their loss on the opening day snapped a 26-game win streak. Conversely, CNU has now won their last 20. Make it 21.
When you think of all of the games and the at-bats and the pitches that these teams have had to experience over the course of their season, almost 50 games at least for every single program. If not, some of them have already hit that 50-minute mark, or 50-game mark. It's impressive to see from these young athletes.
These two had the 2 longest win streaks in the nation coming into the week. CNU twice this year has had 20-game win streaks. This will just get out of play over the left side. TLU still looking for its first base runner. Hernandez in the 6th spot in the lineup. Sarah Metzer is on deck if she can find a way to get on. Ground out and pop out so far this inning. Jamie Martin not relying on the strikeout. 3 ground ball outs. Does have 1 K and 1 pop-up. And serves one right over the edge and gets him looking. 2nd strikeout for Jamie Martin. That is 6 up, 6 down against the Bulldogs of TLU. She gives her captains another chance to capture the first lead. Umbrellas always serve a great purpose this time of year. You always hope it's simply for shade. We did have 1 day affected by rain, but we made up for it as we are back on track. Captains are right where they want to be. Now trying to find a lead. It's Brooke Griever set to lead things off out of the 5 spot against Sydney Wallette. We've seen Sydney and the All-American Ashlyn Strother. To the right side, that is a fair ball. Laura Hernandez on top of the bag when she secures it.
And Hernandez just getting over there just in time. playing a little bit further behind and off the bag. Some good movement there. And make sure she's able to stick it. We've seen the infield give, especially our middle infielders from multiple teams, a bit of trouble so far this tournament. Quite a few errors from some usually very solid defenses.
A really busy crew here at the Moyer Sports Complex yesterday, constantly getting that field up to championship condition for 6 games throughout the day, or days, depending on what time zone you're in. Caroline Helmer, the DP at the plate, 1 out, nobody on. Now to Chesapeake here in Virginia, the senior. Lays off that one from Wallette.
While both teams benefit from youth in the circle for seasons to come, CNU really has the advantage, I would say, of some of this veteran leadership.
Up the middle, stab behind the bag, throw across, and in time, Casey Martin showing off her range and able to get to the glove of Hernandez in time.
That's a really good play there by Casey Martin. Good composure. Has to stop that ball, one from going up the middle. Plays it on a great bounce. And trusts herself to have the ball first, set her feet. And it looks simple, folks. And a good stretch there by Hernandez. It looks simple, but we've seen that ball get botched a couple times this weekend.
Ooh.
So good piece of defense there by Martin.
Well, it is now a moot point as the next pitch has been thrown, but a reminder, and you would understand if the coaches forget, because this has only been available to them this week, this year, but we do have review available. Brandolyn D across the diamond. A couple of ground outs to get this second inning started for Sydney Wallette and the Bulldogs. Quickly moving along. 2 innings in the books. Well, just as quickly as Jamie Martin gets the captains off the field, her counterpart, Sydney Wallette, does the same as they have matched zeros on the board for the first 2 innings. We move on to the third, and it's time for the bottom third of the order for the Bulldogs to come up. Sarah Metzer set to lead things off here at Moyer Sports Complex. Blue Ridge Mountains off in the distance. Always a great backdrop for this championship week. Sarah Metzer also had a memorable pop, a home run last year in that championship pursuit. She's from the Houston area, the senior out of Sugar Land, Texas. Sugar Land has a minor league team, had a great name. They were the Skeeters.
Yes.
But this year, the Houston Astros rebranded them to Space Cowboys, which isn't awful, but Skeeters was pretty darn good.
There's some great opportunity there with the Space Cowboys, but a bit of nostalgia there for the Skeeters in Sugar Land.
Jamie Martin, third inning of work.
Not to make this about minor baseball again, but I do believe the San Antonio team, minor league team, becomes the Flying Chanclas at one point during the season.
They have an alternate identity at various points, which are basically flip-flops that somebody throws at you when they are displeased with you in that moment.
Yes.
They are otherwise simply the missions, which are harder to throw.
Great look there by Metzer. Getting her timing down on Martin. Fouls that ball straight back. As a pitcher, might be looking for some junk here. Maybe some off speed.
This one popped out towards right. Coming in is Childress, able to make the catch.
And some good communication there from the captains, infield and outfield. We talked a bit yesterday about how important it is to know the range of your teammates, to be communicating, especially when that ball is off the bat. Whoever gets the best read often is the one who should take it. Not always, but outfielders usually have an advantage because we're coming in as hard as we can. Our infield counterparts have to go back.
Mentioned Childress came in defensively before the start of last inning. That decision has paid off already. Don't want to overlook the longtime Salem Red Sox here in town. Can't remember which major league team they're affiliated with. Chastity Rains, your center fielder, in the 8th spot for the Bulldogs today. Senior out of Spring, Texas.
And Lincoln, TLU has had a few lineup tweaks, but it's been Chastity Rains actually that's moved the most in the order. But she's been a mainstay in center field for the Bulldogs. Just depending on whether she's hot offensively, coach has been able to move her up or down.
She's been hitting right around 300 on the year. I would think the scariest place to bat is 9th for TLU because of the person who's right behind you. Because if you get on, you need to get out of the way. 3-1 offering to Rains with 1 out, nobody on. And that's your first base runner for the Bulldogs on a day where they will need to win not once but twice against CNU, while the captains can get away with just 1 win. If they split, CNU will move on tomorrow.
We've seen a lot of softball this weekend so far, Lincoln. But one thing we haven't seen a whole lot of is that 3-1 hitters count. Hitters doing a good job of keeping pitchers off balance or vice versa.
Brandolyn D, limited role last year in Salem. We just saw her in the very final game. She got her name into the box score this year, an expanded role at 3rd, and boy, she had a fantastic play with her glove yesterday. See if she can come through here with Rains on the base paths and 1 out. That walk to Rains is huge because that means Jordan, barring a double play, is going to have a chance to come up here in the 3rd inning. And that top of the order. Popped up and, well, if you had maybe a right fielder, I guess, coming in to cover the bag, you may have had a chance for 2, but not much of a threat for Rains to get doubled off, but a great play from Caitlin Hasty. 2 outs.
And an unfortunate bunt attempt. And the captains can't catch a break for a double play.
So here's Kelly Jordan with Chastity Rains on first. And I like that decision. You send Rains. Look, if she's out, then Jordan and your top of your order are all set for the next inning.
Yep.
Stolen base for Chastity Rains. I think we've seen only 2 runners all week caught stealing. And speed has had a decisive advantage.
And Lincoln, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast how that stolen base is going to be so important for this TLU offense to generate momentum. Take that extra 60 feet where they can. Rains has 35 stolen bases on the season, and the Bulldogs have over 300 attempts, which is incredible. They blow every team that we've seen so far this weekend out of the water, and over 200 coming into today's matchup.
Yeah, as a team, they've set a single-season record. They have the individual with the most ever in a single season, as well as career, that being Kelly Jordan at the plate. Again, Jordan, the All-American senior out of Brenham, Texas.
And it's one thing to be tenacious on the base paths. It's a whole other thing to be smart. Looks like the Bulldogs have cultivated some smart base running, knowing when to take risks.
Left side, Griever, and they are 2 for 2, keeping Jordan off the base paths, and along with it, the 3rd out in the 3rd inning. Bulldogs get their first base runner. They strand their first base runner against Jamie Martin and the captains. CNU back up with the 8-9 and top spot of the order coming your way. The blue hue to the Blue Ridge Mountains. The backdrop here in Salem. It's easy to get distracted and not notice that there happens to be some championship caliber softball right in front of you. We are scoreless. Two very capable offenses colliding. CNU is your home team in this game. Look, for CNU, if you don't take care of business here, you flip. All of a sudden, Bulldogs would be the home team trying to carry that momentum in what would be for both teams an elimination game. Right now, only one team is facing elimination in this one, after the Bulldogs, for the first time in their 3 journeys to the championship, lost on day 1. Last year, they suffered their first ever losses in the championship. They both came in that championship series on the final 2 days. Sydney Wallette gets the starting nod, as we've seen her and Strother this week for the Bulldogs. This is Sarah Proctor out of the 8th spot. The 1-1. Proctor from Mineral, Virginia, the senior. Just shy of a 400 batting average coming into this week. Captains out of the Coast to Coast Athletic Conference. Their peers, the Seagulls, have been eliminated. They were the 2 seed. CNU the 1 seed. Hernandez quickly over to first. Again, just in time. Hernandez has been tested twice and has come through both times.
And Proctor, a tough out. The doubles leader on this captain squad. And Faith Hernandez. Hernandez to Hernandez.
And they are going to review the play. Probably could have reviewed one earlier. They'll take another look at that. Again, coaches throughout a ball game get 2 challenges. Umpires can initiate challenges starting in the 6th inning. Coaches can continue to ask for challenges at that point forward. And I know most of you have heard this by now, but our umpires on site will not be the ones consulting the video. That is back in Pittsburgh, where they're also running the shows for Division I and Division II's championships. All of the D1 postseason, and here this final week for D2 and D3.
Hernandez doing whatever she can to get rid of that ball as fast as she can. A speedy Proctor.
And you're familiar with this. Whatever the original call was, has a pretty good chance of being upheld if it's too close to tell. Although I think you're pretty good right there saying that that confirms the original call. Probably would help to have one other angle to make sure we're not being deceived by something. Just as long as Hernandez secures this one cleanly, right there.
And a good dig there from Laura Hernandez.
And then the earlier video did show us that the foot wasn't quite yet on the bag. Pretty confident that this will be upheld as an out, but we'll wait and see. It would just be too hard to overturn it, certainly based on what you saw there. There may have been a even better argument on a out last inning. At the moment, nobody on, 1-1. That could change.
And softball is characterized by a bit of a fickle nature with how fast momentum can shift from play to play, pitch to pitch.
You've got about 3 looks at this. This is your overhead shot.
I mean, I gotta say, that ball hitting the ground actually speeds it up into Laura Hernandez's glove. So I don't know if that ball hadn't bounced, if
Yep.
that would have been safe.
It is upheld. And I think even if initially she'd been ruled safe, they would have been confident seeing enough there, perhaps to even call her out.
Yep.
Worth a try. Still one challenge remaining. I'm told it's a big game. Every out matters. Here's Maddie Houle. and solid at second base so far today. Fifth-year senior out of Woodbridge, Virginia. It's going to be a lot of players moving on, trying to go out in style this year. They knocked off the defending national champions in the Super Regional last weekend. Although that was a tight one.
Neither Wallette nor Martin are really getting that call. Those drops are just dying a little bit too early. We saw a lot of calls of some great pitches yesterday. Pitchers doing a great job of commanding the lower half of the strike zone, right at the knees.
Only base runners so far, each pitcher has walked one. Maddie Hull at the plate, and on deck it is Caitlin Abernathy, the one base runner that the captains have had against Wallette when she walked the first batter she faced, but has now retired the past 7. High chopper, Hernandez with confidence. And again, these are routine plays for these athletes, but for the past couple of days, all of a sudden now we're expecting at the last second a funny hop.
Well, and I'm impressed with the way that the middle infield for the Bulldogs has been moving across the field. Faith Hernandez doing a great job. Gets a great angle, trusts herself again, able to get that throw on the run. And then we saw Martin a couple innings ago able to set her feet, going the opposite way.
Caitlin Abernathy, first pitch she sees, she's got the first hit of the ball game for either team. Her second chance to run the bases after she was stranded on second at the end of the first.
Nothing like a 2-out single.
Again, they aren't really aggressive with her on the base paths. Let's see what they do here with 2 outs and the bat in the hands of Bailey Roberts. Roberts, that's a big hit because you bring up this bat, 12 home runs, 40 RBI coming into the week. Wallette in the circle with 2 out, 1 on. And this will get down. Johnson scoops it up and could not secure it cleanly. She wanted to make that throw to third, and that's going to cost the Bulldogs a run. Boy, a little dose of their own medicine. Caitlin Abernathy, full speed ahead, scores all the way from first on the RBI single from Bailey Roberts.
And Bailey Roberts does a great job capitalizing on the adjustment that Wallette makes. Ball actually doesn't drop out of the zone quite early enough. Great bat angle there from Roberts, able to score Abernathy from first. Tough to do, but Abernathy's got the speed to do it.
Yeah, it won't actually be an RBI for Roberts. Probably an error mixed in there. That is the case, but captains have a lead. Is it a lead they can hang on to punch their ticket into tomorrow's championship series? Here's Caitlin Hasty. Struck out against Wallette back in the first. Off the glove of D into left. Runners on the corners. And taking an extra 60 feet is Hasty. 3 straight hits for the captains. All of this with 2 outs.
And again, a drop ball that just doesn't quite move out of the zone fast enough. The captain's doing a great job of making adjustments in their second round, seeing Wallette.
Double for Caitlin Hasty. Having a good time. See if they're going to run for her. No, they're going to hit by re-entering Curran. After we saw Brooke Childress in her place in right field make a great play, Curran is re-entered. Curran 0 for 1 today. Grounded out to Wallette. Again, 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double with 2 outs this inning. And 2 in scoring position for the captain, Curran. 9 home runs for Katie coming into this week, just a sophomore. You've seen Caitlin Hasty's double celebration. What would she do if she scored? Up the middle, we may find out. Roberts comes home. They will send Hasty as well. The tag not applied. It's a 3-run inning, all with 2 outs for CNU.
And this is the offense that we're used to seeing from the captains, but it's interesting because we've seen it mostly in the bulk of the game, innings 3, 4, and 5, all tournament long. Again, the second time through the lineup. And the captains able to get a couple runs of insurance for Jamie Martin.
4 straight hits with 2 outs. As somebody might have a future in rhythmic gymnastics. Katie Curran comes through. I never know whether that's officially a pinch hit for Curran or not, but it doesn't matter.
Well, and here's the challenge that Wallette's having right now. So it doesn't get that called drop just now, but every drop that we've seen her throw in the past couple batters has been smoked for a double or a single.
First 2 captains this inning, Proctor and Houle, grounded out to Faith Hernandez. Since then, 3 singles and a double. 3 runs have scored. As Sydney Wallette facing Brooke Griever for a second time now. Coming in is Johnson, able to make the catch. Captains will strand 1, but they plate 3. The first 3 runs of the game belong to the #1 seed this week in Salem. And CNU has given Jamie Martin a lead and a cushion. Well, we've seen the captain fans and the Bulldog fans out strong this week. Really great turnout. We're even seeing some fans stick around. There's some fans from Indiana waiting for their Trine Thunder. No matter what happens in this game, we will immediately then shift over to Trine and Barry. Now, if the Bulldogs win this game, they would then play in that 3rd contest of the day against CNU, and then the 4th contest, if necessary, would be Trine and Barry. If CNU wins this game and Barry were to win the next, they would turn right back around for that 3rd game between Barry and Trine. This is not stuff you're concerned with right now. We're in the top of the 4th. I'm just proud I know it. Lincoln Rose, Sydney Gearbracht with you as, well, the Bulldogs, again, already had an uphill battle today. Now they have a 3-run deficit to overcome. Remember, Kelly Jordan was the final out last inning, so here's Johnson leading things off 0-for-1 with a strikeout against Jamie Martin. As Griever, not sure if that was a check swing or attempted a slap, but either way, leadoff batter is kept off the base paths once again.
Seeing some much cleaner defense today. A lot of times on a ball hit like that yesterday, really we're seeing defenses struggling. I don't know if it was moving across the field or the way the field was playing, but either way, it looks like both defenses have settled in nicely.
We have not done the genealogy, but here's Jamie Martin and Casey Martin. Casey, the Bulldog, grounded out to second baseman Maddie Houle back in the 1st, 0-for-1 today. Neither pitcher had given up a hit until Wallette saw 4 base hits from the captain's last half inning. 3 singles and a double. Faith Hernandez on deck. Right now, 2-0 offering to Martin. Able to lay off that one high. Six Bulldogs named All-Region by the NFCA this year. In addition, of course, to their All-Americans, Jordan and Strother. 21 newcomers for TLU. Pulled down the line. That's a base hit, first of the day for the Bulldogs. Casey Martin looking for at least a double. She'll stand up safely after taking a pair.
Well, we've seen Texas Lutheran strike first in their first couple games, or the 2 games they played yesterday were a bit stunned in their first game of this tournament. If we know this Bulldog offense, it's that they know how to answer if they're challenged with the run production on the other side.
Martin likes to run. In excess of 30 stolen bases this year. Faith Hernandez comes up with a runner in scoring position. Hernandez 0 for 1 today. First pitch she sees will not get out of the infield. Hool, 2 away. That helps Martin and company breathe a little easier, though not out of the woods just yet. As Bailey Hudgens will come up. Hudgens popped out to the shortstop Carmichael back in the second inning, 0 for 1 today. And the Bulldogs find a way to get that first run across here with 2 outs. All 3 runs for CNU with 2 outs. All 4 hits after the first 2 batters retired. 1 out double from Casey Martin. And she still stands on second now, 1 batter later. 1 out later.
And Jamie Martin doing a great job working that outside corner with her backdoor curve.
There's 2 outs, runner is going. But no mistake made by Sarah Proctor. Comes in, makes the catch. So both teams find their first hits. But so far, only the captains have managed any runs. They still lead by 3. Back at Field 1, the championship field over the years here in Salem, Virginia. Going to go under a remodeling process, so neither D3 nor D2 will be playing here, as D3 will shift next year to the campus of East Texas Baptist University in Marshall, Texas, ETBU, just about an hour from a recent site in Tyler, Texas, where TLU has some fond memories. As Caroline Helmer will lead things off, 0 for 1 today. Captain's first 2 batters last inning retired on ground outs. Then all of a sudden, 4 straight hits, 3 runs. Give them their current advantage against Wallette and the Bulldogs. We could see anywhere from 2 to 4 softball games today, depending on how much of a fight our 2-1 teams are able to put up against our pair of 2-0 teams. Trine Thunder are your other squad, along with CNU, who have been perfect this week, only had to play once yesterday. While Barry, the Vikings, in a similar state as TLU. Faith Hernandez has been reliable over there at short. Firing over to Laura Hernandez. 1 away.
It's tough to predict who's going to come in and be the difference maker on either side of the ball, especially with your freshman class, right? Very few freshmen come in absolutely nailing it. Big adjustment. It looks like Faith Hernandez has done a great job so far.
Brandolyn D across the diamond to Hernandez as quickly Carmichael retired. Second time she's grounded out to D. 2 away. Sorry they interrupted you.
They do that.
There's only 2 outs. You want to dive into a story?
Yeah, usually. The joke is that I dive into some sort of anecdote, either from my knowledge of previous games and or my own experience, and third out is delivered. Oh, look at that.
First pitch shot out towards the gap. There's Chassie Rains. What were you saying? Got to throw it to a break. Put a pin in it right there. 3 up, 3 down go the captains. Bulldogs still within 3. Back in Salem, Virginia this week. This is our 11th softball game over these first 4 days. Laura Hernandez will lead things off out of the 6th spot, 0 for 1 today, followed by Sarah Metzer and Chastity Rains, the minimum that Jamie Martin would have to face. Martin had a scary start to this ball game. First batter she saw, Kelly Jordan, shot one right back around her collarbone, but Martin appears to be good to go. She has settled in over the past few innings. TLU did find its first hit last inning, a double from Casey Martin. That was with 1 out. Next 2 batters would pop out and fly out. Martin would remain stuck there as the first make its second runner left on base, since Chastity Rains has also walked in this affair. So 2 left on for TLU. Along with Jamie Martin, we've seen Kate Alger in the circle this week for CNU. Both of them freshmen. Look, they're going to lose a lot of teammates at the end of this year, but that pitching staff's going to be pretty solid for Keith Parr for the foreseeable future, and I'm told in softball, pitching's kind of important.
Well, the captains have certainly benefited from the bookends of leadership that they found.
One of them already an All-American. Shot out towards right. It'll be challenging. Reaching out for 2 hands. Did she catch it? Yes. And again, that's back to Katie Kern out there. So 2 different right fielders have made tremendous plays. If in fact, oh, she did. Kept leather underneath that ball the whole time.
Another great example of how the different angles and the triangles that each of these different positions make, these pockets that the ball can fall into, really important for teammates on both sides to be able to communicate. And often that outfielder has a better angle because they're able to charge in.
Brooke Childress made the great play earlier. Curran re-entered, comes through. Here's Sarah Metzer. She flied out to right, back in the 3rd. She can relate. Metzer last year 5 for 16 here in Salem with a home run, 4 RBI. And she'll come through with a base hit, second of the ball game for TLU. A single with 1 out here in the 5th. Nothing Abernathy can do, just wait for it. Wade Wilson's going to make a change as he's going to run for his catcher. No offense to all you catchers out there.
That's the first hit we've seen off of Martin. Probably the hardest hit ball, or excuse me, second hit we've seen off of Martin. Probably the hardest hit ball we've seen thus far.
Second time we're seeing Riley Futrell come run. Freshman out of Florence, Texas. As Chastity Rains comes to the plate. Rains was the first base runner for the Bulldogs. She was stranded after a 1-out walk in the 3rd. She would steal a bag and never move any farther.
And this is the situation that the Bulldogs have been looking for all game. Having a runner on. Chastity Rains, one of those RBI production specialists for the Bulldogs this year. One of 3 above 30 RBIs on the season.
With 1 out, the 0-1. Bulldogs the last 2 innings have had a runner on second but left them on the base. Right now, Futrell the pinch runner on first after the single from Metzer. Bottom 3rd of the order trying to come through. And now the 8-hitter Rains. 0-2 from Martin. Boy, that one right about eyebrow level. By the way, we're already in the 5th inning.
It's been one of the faster moving games we've called so far this weekend.
That is not to the Bulldogs' liking for once. And able to find one that Rains can shoot into the outfield, going from first to third, Futrell, and that allows Rains to move on to second. So the tying run comes to the plate, and it's the Bulldogs' speed back on display, trying to extend their season. Oh, Futrell never thought about slowing down.
And again, the Bulldog offense starting to get a better read, settle into their at-bats a little bit more.
They bait you into that throw, which then allows another friend to join them with an extra 60 feet of their own. So a single all of a sudden has 2 runners in scoring position. So no threat of a traditional double play to get out of this inning. Your number 9 hitter, Brandolin D, is due up. See if Wade Wilson makes a change. He is. He's going to go to Jack, his pinch hitter. Kylie Jack, freshman, a couple of home runs this year. Already has a pinch hit this week. She bats in place of Brandolin D here in a critical moment in the top of the 5th inning with 2 on and 1 out. Futrell on third, Rains on second. And remember, if not for the diving catch by Brooke Childerson Wright, Bulldogs may already be on the board.
Well, and this is a great strategic situation to use Jack here, right? We've multiple runners in scoring position. Jack with a couple home runs and a couple doubles on the season, coming into today's game hitting .353. Ultimately some better numbers than what we've seen from Dee. Seeing that she can produce in these multi-run RBI opportunities.
A couple of singles have 2 runners in scoring position, including Chastity Rains right there on your screen. The 0-1 to Jack from Martin. 0-2. On deck, Kelly Jordan. And that top of the order for the Bulldogs. But right now, the pinch hitter, Kylie Jack.
Yesterday, the winners all day were the ones who could limit the amount of free passes, limit the amount of mistakes they made. Today, looks like who can execute the best situational hitting.
And Jack down on strikes. That's a huge out, number 2. It brings up Kelly Jordan with 2 in scoring position.
And a great response there by Jamie Martin.
Martin's 3rd strikeout these 5 innings.
It goes right at the pinch hitter. That's really one of the disadvantages of being a pinch hitter. You don't have that at bat under your belt where you've seen a couple pitches. Have to come in and produce.
Kelly Jordan, no home runs this year, 23 RBI coming into this week. 0 for 2 today against Jamie Martin. Has helped slow down the Bulldogs so far. The 0-1 from the southpaw. And this one's just going to be out of reach for Brooke Griever. Boy, you wish you had a few more inches. You'd feel a whole lot better about your chances playing tomorrow. And Brooke might have something in her eye. Sometimes that eye black, sometimes sunscreen slowly will creep up in those eyes, and it takes an inning or so kind of flush that out.
And part of the game plan of the captains is to keep Kelly Jordan off balance as much as possible and keep her off the base paths if you can.
Backhanded stab. There's no play to be made, and perhaps that's the best play by Natalie Carmichael. She had the discipline not to simply throw the ball for the sake of it. So you concede the run, Futrell. There was no force for her to be made at third. And it forced Rains to go back to second.
And a good piece of situational hitting there from Kelly Jordan. forces the shortstop to be moving away from the bag. You know, the runner on third's getting a great jump, so they're leaving.
It's an RBI single for Kelly Jordan. And it's a pop from Johnson off her bat towards right, back towards the wall, and it is caught by Katie Curran. So instead of the Bulldogs going up a run with a home run off the bat of Johnson, it is Curran hauling it in, minimizing the damage, and the captains are a little closer to ending the run of the Bulldogs and advancing to the finals.
Katie Curran playing out of her mind out there in right field, does what we have seen a lot of outfielders struggle with and is looking for the fence. You see her stick her hand out. She's also able to hold on to that. We've seen a couple unfortunate ball out over the fence. And Curran able to hold on to that. It's a big out there for freshman pitcher Jamie Martin to get out of that inning.
What do you think? That was a home run, or do you think it would have hit off the wall?
Hard to say.
I'm back and forth on that.
Hard to say.
All I know is if she doesn't catch that, it is no longer a captain's lead. Because with 2 outs, runners were going. Kelly Jordan did manage an RBI single to score the pinch runner Futrell. Sarah Metzer has re-entered at catcher after Futrell ran in her place successfully. The lead for the captains has been trimmed by 1, but the margin for a comeback for the Bulldogs now down to just a couple of innings.
The Bulldogs may have to be okay here with just chipping away at this 2-run deficit. They may not get the opportunity to have the big inning. We know that their brand of softball is they're used to having that explosive inning, maybe 1 or 2, and generate some offensive momentum. Have not seen that yet from the Bulldogs.
Maddie Houle at the plate, 0 for 1 today. This one shot out towards right. Madison Johnson, who was just disappointed a moment ago by her counterpart in right field. They've had some struggles initially recognizing that ball, but able to find it. 1-1.
It's a good read there by Maddie Johnson. Almost looks like she overruns that, and that's actually a good read there because she's expecting some lefty spin, but it looks like Houle gets every bit of that ball. And Maddie Johnson is still able to snag it out of the air.
Caitlin Abernathy got that 3-run inning in the third, started for CNU with her 2-out single, the first of 4 hits that inning. She has reached base both times, a walk, a single, run scored so far on her resume today. It's a chip out towards left, and it's the shortstop, Faith Hernandez. And again, what an asset a shortstop like Hernandez is. Just keeps your defense calm. You know you can rely on her to make that play look routine. 2 away.
Hernandez has been really solid over at short today. Solid all season long for the Bulldog defense. We've seen her make all the routine plays and all of the tough ones as well, showcasing off her athleticism and her cannon for an arm.
So Bailey Roberts looking for another 2-out base hit. She was part of that parade in the 3rd inning. She would be the 2nd run to score, followed by Caitlin Hasty, who's on deck. Savannah Couch, your assistant for Keith Parr and CNU.
Bailey Roberts, one of 5 CNU captains that has started all 45 games. Some of that senior leadership.
This is the 3rd time that Keith Parr has led his alma mater to the softball championship. Of course, it's often a difficult path with those Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan in their way. It's the first time since 2011, so obviously a new experience for this current generation, including Roberts, who has a 3-0 count to her name against Wallette. 3-1. 15 straight NCAA tournaments for the captains. That's all you ask for, a berth to the dance. Give yourself a chance. 6 of those recently automatic bids out of their conference. Line drive just off of the glove of Hernandez. It's another 2-out base hit for Bailey Roberts. Hernandez almost made another spectacular play But this inning continues.
And a well-hit ball there by Roberts. Faith Hernandez not able to open it up, moving away, or moving into that 5-6 hole. Not able to squeeze it. And we're seeing why it's so important to make sure that you're choosing good pitches, driving the ball, forcing the defense to make plays. Often it can go in your favor.
They're going to run for Roberts. Wade Wilson also wants to talk to Sidney Wallett in the circle. Mentioned before Wade Wilson arrived, the program existed for 8 years, had a winning percentage of 46%. Since he's taken over, 83%. And that will do it for Wallett. And it'll be a pitcher we, again, have not seen yet this week in Salem. Amanda White. More on that when you... First we've seen of Amanda White since the opening day, as the junior out of Lockhart, Texas, started her academic pursuits over at Kilgore Junior College in East Texas. As she had 8 starts this season, 13 appearances overall coming into the week, 50 innings with 36 strikeouts to show for it, and a modest 8-1 record, a 1.52 ERA. And she's essentially your number 3 pitcher for TLU. We are not seeing Strother, who threw right around 200 innings yesterday. And the pinch runner is Hess for CNU, by the way, over at first after Bailey Roberts got another 2-out single. So Kinsley Hess out of Loudoun County here in Virginia. And Metzer is going to get some readjustment with the tape. All right, first 2 batters were retired here in the 5th. Roberts with the single a moment ago. That prompted the pitching change. The pinch runner, Hess, has come on. Here's Caitlin Hasty, already with a double and a run scored. 1 for 2 today.
And Hasty's got to expect she's not going to get anything good. And if she does happen to capitalize on, or if White happens to make a mistake here, put it anywhere close, Hasty's taking a hack.
There is aforementioned hack.
Hasty, one of the RBI producers on this team, but leads the team with 18 home runs on the season.
Another big cut. Amanda White comes in, slams the door shut on CNU's hopes of reestablishing another insurance run. Captain strand a runner. Bulldogs back to the plate in the 6th. A lot on the line, as has been the case all week, but heightened here today. We are down to 4 teams in pursuit of a national championship, the most recent of whom to win, these Bulldogs of TLU 2019. Got some other familiar faces, though. And the captains, their 3rd appearance in the championship in their program's history. The Thunder of Trine as well, returning this year. And newcomers, the Vikings of Barry, who handed TLU their first loss, a 5-1 win for the Vikings. So now the change in the circle. Kate Alger comes in here in the 6th inning. And I don't think this is any kind of commentary on how Jamie Martin was doing. I just think you have a coach who's very confident in his 2 freshman arms. Alger barehands it, throws to first, into the splits. Caitlin Hasty to secure the out.
And talk about a play that can shift momentum. Hasty's getting the splits after her pitcher hustles to get a very good bunt down by Martin.
Well, we're going to get to see this over and over and enjoy it over and over because Wade Wilson has asked for a review. Martin, did she beat the barehanded throw? Hasty to the splits. Were we all simply mesmerized and overlooked the speed of Martin? Nope. Yeah, I think Martin just unfortunately didn't have that in stride. Had had to take the extra step. And that's the most reserved that
Well, an incredible effort by both captains involved in that play to nullify that bunt by Martin.
Yeah, you had a pitcher who knew she didn't have time to glove it. So a pitcher who's just come in the game, Alger, the freshman, bare hands the ball, fires over to Hasty. And for Hasty, what a day it's been so far, offensively and defensively, if in fact they have secured that out. They did not need to look at it long. And Martin is out. So we've had 2 reviews. Both have upheld the original call. Each have been simply the good old-fashioned bang-bang play at first. Boy, Alger and Hasty realizing what's on the line. Back to Faith Hernandez, 0 for 2 today, ground out and pop out. And that one's fouled by about 3 feet.
And we saw a lot of Alger in that first contest in the win the captains had over the WPI Engineers. And Alger is going to be a precision pitcher. Hits her spots, works in off speed nicely. She's going to be more of a strikeout pitcher than Jamie Martin.
Hernandez trying to blue point into center. She does. Proctor not going to lay out for that ball and let Hernandez take anything more than just a single. So the Bulldogs have yet to be able to get their leadoff batter on. They come up here with 1 out, able to get a single. And they're going to run for Hernandez as Wade Wilson goes to his roster card. I believe this is Lee. No, it's not. It is Kirsten Williams. Kirsten's had a pretty good success rate once she gets on the base paths as a pinch runner of coming home to score. She hopes that's a very brief chat with Coach Van Hook. Says, I'll see you later. All right, Bailey Hudgens, your DP has popped out and flied out to short and center. 1 out, 1 on. She is your tying run at the plate with 5 home runs on the year. Gets out over the plate. They'll get the lead runner. Boy, Brooke Griever had confidence she could get that first out, and she does.
Oh, that's a great heads-up play there by Griever. Again, whatever's happening on the field today, the bounces are going the right way, bouncing into the leather of each defense. Most defenses yesterday were not that lucky.
Maddie Houle gave her the option. She took it. Hudgens reaches on the fielder's choice, but now 2 outs for Laura Hernandez. And Hernandez, one of 2 players who've been robbed in right field.
And Alger taking advantage of the fact that she knows that this Bulldog offense is hungry. They're coming out swinging this inning, really working in that off-speed pitch as much as she can.
This is your 6th inning. There is no guarantee the top of the order for the Bulldogs will bat again here in 2022. Laura Hernandez try to do everything she can. Get on base and at least let them dig a little deeper into the lineup. And a 1-2 count favoring Alger, who came into this inning. To take over for Jamie Martin.
I don't know if I'm a Bulldog batter, I might be expecting off speed so much that that might be what I choose, knowing I might not get anything else.
Down by 2 with 2 outs.
Or anything else that's not off speed is going to be well out of the strike zone. Want to leave it alone.
Bulldogs are essentially working with 4 outs in their season at the moment. Obviously, there's ways to earn more. The 2-2 just got a piece of it. But obviously, any kind of base hit, and the Bulldogs can capitalize, especially with 2 outs. They know to run on contact. Right now, Bailey Hudgens, your base runner. After the pinch runner, Williams was forced out. Boy, last inning could have been even bigger if Hernandez had not been robbed of a hit in right. She'll try to get this one to drop down to left. She does. So 2 Bulldogs aboard. Hudgens to second. Can't move any farther with that ball going to left field, but Laura Hernandez has come through.
Yeah, that's a great in-at-bat adjustment by Laura Hernandez. Not able to hit anything really solidly. Fouls off a couple off-speed pitches. Ultimately ends up choosing it and takes an outside off-speed to left field, able to barrel it up.
Bulldogs' bottom third of the order has been a bright spot, as they are 2 for 5 with a couple of singles, a walk, and a run scored, including a single and run produced from this spot in the lineup. Sarah Metzer.
We talk about that elusive third out from time to time.
Lexi Coward's going to run at first. In place of Laura Hernandez, that's your tying run on first. Alger trying to find that third out. Again, Sarah Metzer has pop. But Bulldogs have already helped themselves out. They know they'll see at least a piece of that top of the order in the 7th, if not here in the 6th. 7-hitter Metzer at the plate. 0-1 out towards center. Could be trouble. That gets down. They'll have a chance to tie it here. Coward coming home. Play at the plate, not in time. Brand new ball game. With 2 outs, Sarah Metzer strikes. Hudgens and Coward come home.
That's a beautiful piece of hitting there from Sarah Metzer. Again, this is what we expect from the Bulldog offense when they start to gain a little bit of momentum. They do not go down without a fight. That ball has a little bit of spin away from Proctor. Just not able to keep the leather on it.
Coward ties it at 3. And it's not going to get any easier for the captains now. Chastity Rains, followed by Brandolyn D, and then the top of the order for the Bulldogs, either here in the 6th or in the next inning in the 7th. Kate Alger got the first out. Remember, with that barehanded throw over to first. It's been a struggle since then.
This is a good opportunity for Alger to settle in. She's getting some really great experience here on the national stage. And we'll see why she's been successful all year long here.
Metzer with the double, brings home 2. Here's Chastity Rains. Rains walked in the 3rd, singled in the 5th. Very productive out of the 8th spot, and they'd love to have more from her here.
Opportunity here for Alger to really dig in. See if she can get out of this inning right here.
Runner on second, Metzer. Would love to give the Bulldogs their first lead of the day here late in this ball game. If the Bulldogs win, they still have to do it again to a team that has only lost once all year. This one's sent for a ride, out towards right, and it is snagged. Of course it is. Katie Curran's out there. But not before the Bulldogs score 2 with 2 outs in the 6th inning. It's a brand new ball game, moving on to the home half of the 6th, as the Bulldogs looking to keep it tied. Such a beautiful day. You don't want to just be stuck only watching 2 softball games today, do you? Get a bargain, get a couple more in. That's the way TLU sees it. Amanda White back in the circle. Again, both coaches making pitching changes last inning. White able to come in and shut things down. Here is Katie Curran, and she has been huge out there in right field. Diving catch, potentially home run robbing catch, and was able to track down that last ball to make sure the Bulldogs did not get over the hump and claim a lead. And now they're asking her to do more, oh, by the way, than that 2-run single back in the 3rd inning she produced. Trying to get things started out of the 4th spot here in the 6th inning.
And for a team that relies so much on their veterans and their freshmen, Katie Curran, a sophomore, is more of that young talent on this captain squad, producing on both sides of the ball today.
The 1-2 from White. Not chasing that time. 2-2. Both Hernandezes do re-enter for defensive purposes this half inning. Faith at short, Laura at first. This will be playable. And Metzer has it. 1 away. Bulldogs a little closer. Grabbing those bats in the 7th inning.
And Metzer with a little bit of intensity after putting her Bulldogs back in it in that last inning. Seeing a bit more of a command than we've seen from her behind the dish.
Here's Brooke Griever, 0 for 2 today. Sophomore, a .350 hitter this season with 8 home runs coming into this week. First 3 runs of the ball game belong to CNU. Last 2 innings, the Bulldogs have chipped away and eliminated the deficit with 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th a moment ago. Captain's your home team, and again, if you let this one slip away, those Bulldogs get to be the home team in the second tussle later on. That will not be immediately following this game, as we will shift our focus to Trine and Barry. CNU has actually trailed in both of their 2 wins this week, only to come back with confidence. They have not yet trailed today against the Bulldogs. Chance to reclaim a lead. Count stays at 1-2.
And after that last inning, we're now seeing TLU, who's now out-hit the Captains, 7 hits to 5. A place that TLU is comfortable being, but most of the time, out-hitting a team means outscoring them too. For this Bulldog offense, not currently the case here with the Captains.
Nobody on, 1 out. And Griever's not going to do any favors there for White. Bulldogs presumably have Strother available for that game later on today if they get there. After Wallette got the start and White has come on in relief. Count's gone full to Griever. Bulldogs were in that NFCA Leadoff Classic this year. Got to preview some of their potential opponents this week as the count stays full.
We're seeing White continue to work that screwball in the outside corner. Getting caught very similarly to what we saw Alexis Michon get caught yesterday. Her back hip getting in the way. Not fully seeing that pitch through, cutting it off just slightly.
Katie Curran led off the inning, fouling out. And we may have a repeat right here. Caught before the backstop by by Sarah Metzer. 2 away.
Good adjustment there by White. And good call there by Griever. Good call there by Metzer.
So 2 outs, but 2 outs is when the fun begins. Here's Caroline Helmer, the DP, 0 for 2 today. A couple of ground outs up the middle. It's the 6th spot in your lineup coming through for a 3rd time. Again, both coaches last inning made pitching changes. White has been solid so far, retiring all 3 batters she's faced after she inherited a runner last inning. Count 1-2. And here's what the Bulldogs have to look forward to. That 9 spot in the lineup, and then all of a sudden the top of the order. At the moment, that'd be Brandolyn D., Kelly Jordan, Madison Johnson. You recognizable names. Puts the pressure on the captains to produce. Foul ball shot over towards the Bulldogs dugout. Always good for a laugh when it doesn't actually hit you. Two and 2. 44-1. CNU. Champions of the Coast to Coast Athletic Conference. One of 2 conference members to make it this week. Tipped into the glove, strikeout by Amanda White. She has faced 4 batters, retired 4 batters. Her Bulldogs have already erased a deficit. Now they go to work looking for their first lead in the final scheduled inning as we move on to the 7th. We move on to the 7th inning. And the picture is not any clearer than it was in the 1st inning. With that said, Bulldogs have started to tilt a few things in their favor. Here's Brandolyn D. 0 for 1 today. They pinch hit for her back in the 5th. It's popped out. 0 for 1 coming here into the 7th. She just wants to get on any way she can. There's somebody named Kelly Jordan on deck, followed by Madison Johnson, who, if it weren't for Kelly Jordan, we might be even talking a little bit more about. Right now, D trying to maximize all 3 outs TLU has. 2nd inning of work for Kate Alger in relief of Jamie Martin. Alger saw 6 batters in the 6th inning. Began with that great defensive play, but after then it became a challenge. Lead to a 2-run double from Sarah Metzer with 2 outs to tie this ball game. That's a fair ball over to first. Nice execution. Both teams have been able to execute as Griever across the diamond to Hasty. And that may have been Houle over at first. 1 away. So the Bulldogs have not been able to get their leadoff batter on all day. But here is your, by definition, leadoff hitter, Kelly Jordan. Finally got on the base paths with an RBI single in the 5th. So she brought Futrell home for that first run of the day. Kelly would then be left on first base thanks to a fantastic play in right field. That may have robbed a home run from the Bulldogs at the time.
Well, Kelly Jordan has been so key for this tenacious offense. Really crafty on the base paths. Seen her have a couple stolen bases this weekend. But really, it's going to be the captain's tall task to keep Jordan off the base paths as much as possible, able to do that in her first 2 at-bats. We'll have to see what sort of production she can come up with here.
The 0-2. Again, Jordan retired her first 2 times up. This one poked over. That's a foul ball. So again, Kelly Jordan at the plate right now. Madison Johnson on deck. It's their first time to see Kate Alger. The 1-2. Got her. That is a huge out. And yet they're not in the clear. Madison Johnson comes up. She's 0 for 3, but boy, was she close to tying it up back in the 5th inning. This was her last at bat, right at the wall. And each time I see it, I think it's a little bit closer to probably being a home run, being brought back in.
Yeah, an absolutely outstanding play by Katie Curran. Has her hand out looking for the wall the entire time.
So here's Johnson, first pitch she sees. And she's going to be able to see a second pitch. Johnson today a strikeout, a ground out, and that deep fly out. Again, there's a chance we just saw Kelly Jordan for the final time in a Bulldog uniform swinging a bat. She'll be back out there in left field in the home half. I don't like to make the broadcast depressing. Maddie Johnson, a sophomore. There's a decent chance she will be the heir apparent to that top spot in the order, but boy, has she been versatile. Maddie's even pitched a few innings this year. That 11.67 ERA, though, just has allowed Amanda White to stay ahead of her in the rotation. Her day job swinging a bat, the 2-1. Right back to Alger. And that is a dream half inning for CNU. For arguably the toughest top of an order you'll see in the country, retired. CNU can walk it off in the bottom of the 7th. Those CNU Captains fans have only seen their team score fewer than their opponents one time all year. Right now, a deadlock into the bottom of the 7th for Keith Parr's women. They're facing Amanda White, who has seen 4 captain hitters, retired 4 captain hitters, a couple of foul outs, and a couple of strikeouts. Not even a single ball batted into play. As bottom third of the order, they're 0 for 6 today. All of that was against Sydney Wallette. Amanda White trying to keep that trend going and give the Bulldogs a chance in extra innings.
Well, in softball, very much a numbers game. So when we take a look at some of the averages of these humans who are in the bottom of the order, Natalie Carmichael coming into today's game just shy of 400 on the year. Not a characteristic for somebody in that 7 spot necessarily.
Count is 1-2. She twice has grounded out to the left side over to Brandolyn D at third. Leads off here in the 7th.
Luckily for the captains, 7, 8, 9 looks like they're due. Even though this is probably their first time, I believe, seeing Amanda White.
It was an 0-2 hole. Count currently 1-2 to Carmichael. And it'll stay 1-2. 3 runs on 5 hits today for CNU, aided by 1 error from the Bulldogs, who have 3 runs on 7 hits.
Carmichael on the left side there. We see her with a split grip. A little bit more control of her barrel there.
Pokes this over towards left. Kelly Jordan is there after she'd been playing up. Takes a few strides back, 1-1. That is 5 straight retired since Amanda White has come in at the end of the 5th inning. Now Sarah Proctor, the senior, right around a 400 hitter. Again, 8 home runs and 1 pitch, battling the sun, but Hernandez has it 2 away. Bulldogs are closer to being able to bat again here in 2022. Gives way to Maddie Houle, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out.
And Maddie Houle, not your typical 9-hole hitter. 407 on the year. Acts as that second leadoff for the Captains.
All of CNU's runs came from hits with 2 outs back in the 3rd inning. They were able to string 3 singles and a double together back then. Only 1 run in this game has come before 2 outs. That's not true. They've all come with 2 outs. Big cut from Houle, 1-2. Amanda came in back in the 5th inning with 2 outs, but a single from Bailey Roberts had created some concern. Hess was the pinch runner on first. She struck out Hasty to end that inning and end the threat. And the next half inning, her Bulldogs would eliminate the 2-run deficit, tying it up 3-all. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs, nobody on. That one punched through from Maddie Houle. It'll bring up the top of the Captains lineup with a possible game-winning run in the form of Maddie Houle standing on first right now.
Well, this is truly best case scenario at this point in the game for the Captains. Top of the order, Maddie Houle executing beautifully through the 5-6 hole.
So you want an All-American to be coming up in this spot? Caitlin Abernathy batting just under 450 this year. Now she's not going to beat you with the long ball. No home runs, 27 RBI coming into the week. Moments ago, Maddie Houle, 2-out single. Caitlin Abernathy today, a walk, a single, a run scored. 1 for 2 officially. Her first time to see Amanda White. 8th batter that White has faced now for the Captains. Bailey Roberts is on deck if Abernathy can extend this inning.
We've seen White be more successful with that screwball on a right-handed hitter. Not getting that outside call. Tailing just a little bit too far out in order for it to be believable. Get those swing and misses.
It's been 2 months and 2 days since the Captains of CNU last tasted defeat. 21 games ago. 2-2, poked out towards Jordan. That should do it. There's your third out. So we go to extra innings. The season extended for the Bulldogs for at least one more frame. It's a day where they have to hand CNU 2 losses in order to advance to tomorrow. But so far, Bulldogs are still in the hunt. On to the 8th inning. Everybody on the edge of their seats. Bulldogs didn't know if they would ever pick up the bat again before the 2023 campaign. But here's Casey Martin. And with it comes hope for TLU of playing 2 today. Martin already a double, is 1 for 3. She was the first batter that Kate Alger faced in relief in the 6th inning. She had that slow roller that Alger had to barehand and throw to first, a bang-bang play. Caitlin Hasty extending into the splits to make it possible. Count 1-1 to Martin. So Casey Martin, Faith Hernandez, Bailey Hudgens due up. They've already erased a 3-run deficit. This will be playable. And Bailey Roberts, no sweat. 1 away.
And for both of these teams, when you take a look at who they have coming up in these extra innings, the bulk of your lineup, some of the best hitters we've seen so far this weekend, should make for an interesting challenge for Alger and White in the circle.
These 3, 4, and 5 hitters were 2 for 9 coming into this inning. Faith Hernandez had that hit in the 6th. They would ultimately run for her. She faces Alger for a second time. Shot into the glove of Natalie Carmichael.
And that can do a couple things for you, but a great play, good snag out of the air by Carmichael. And if I'm TLU, I'm still holding on to hope because that was a well-hit ball, hard-hit ball by Hernandez.
I'm running out of exclamation points for my scorebook page.
This Bulldog offense already knows that they can hit Alger well.
So just like that, Bailey Hudgens, 2 out, nobody on. 0 for 3 today. Did score in the 6th inning on the RBI double from Sarah Metzer. Again, all 6 runs this ball game have scored with 2 outs. So here we are. Left side, snagged by Griever. Brooke Griever, solid at the hot corner. That after the line drive into the glove of the outstretched Natalie Carmichael. They've done the exceptional to keep it level. Now looking to walk it off. Keith Parr has his 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up here in the 8th inning. They are a combined 4 for 9 so far. Again, Caitlin Abernathy was the final out of the 7th inning. So it doesn't quite begin extra innings with the top of his order. Bailey Roberts today, 2 for 3 with a run scored. And they're asking more from her. As Amanda White has been solid in relief. Came in a game where the Bulldogs were trailing and has bought them time to come back and buy extra innings. Count quickly 0-2 on Roberts. Roberts was the last batter that Sydney Wallette faced. So 9th batter that White sees here in relief.
If I'm looking to end here, I'm excited to have Roberts and Hasty back-to-back, my 2 home run hitters on this captain squad. Hasty with 18, Roberts with 13. We're going to end it with 1 swing, 1 pitch. Those are the 2 to do it.
The 1-2. Got her. Big out. Secured by Amanda White. Yeah, if Caitlin Hasty comes through with a walk-off home run, the problem is it's probably going to be a pretty muted celebration.
And there you go with Roberts. Sometimes swing big, miss big. But often enough, swing big, hit big too.
All right, so Hasty's the first batter Amanda White saw. She struck her out to end a threat in the 5th inning. Hasty today, a double, run scored, and a couple of strikeouts against Wallette and White. That one on the outer edge. And just like that, Amanda White throwing strikes. First Roberts, now Hasty in an 0-2 hole.
White really having settled in these past couple innings. She doesn't have nearly the control that we've seen from Wallette and Strother.
She is not concerned with the All-American Hasty here. And was looking for a backward skay. Let's say the count 2-2. Katie Curran's on deck. And all of these captains have had memorable days, but they're looking for one more memory. Down the line, just fell. Not by much. One out, nobody on. Captains are the home team in this one. Just got a piece of it.
Two-two situation on a big hitter. We see her foul that ball back. He's right on it. White is going to be challenged to really make it dance or give us something off speed here.
And again, foul tip.
I don't think we've seen a single strikeout looking today, which was a bit of an issue earlier this weekend in the first 10 games we've seen in this tournament.
You've been heard. Got her. Facing the toughest part of the lineup, Amanda White has seen 2 captain's hitters and has 2 strikeouts to show for it. Second time she struck out Hasty.
Well, and again, sometimes you swing big, you miss big. Hasty taking her hacks. Gotta respect the All-American. Coming in looking to end this game with 1 swing.
Katie Curran diving catch, potentially home run robbing catch, 2-run single back in the 3rd with 2 outs. Is there anything left here? Slow roller, Brandolyn D over to Hernandez, and the Bulldogs will see a 9th inning. They've got Laura Hernandez, Sarah Metzer, and Chassie Rains due up. Stay around. First game of the day here. 4 teams still alive in Salem on NCAA.com. Kate Alger, one of our 2 relievers, and a tense ball game moving on to the 9th inning. Now her teammates will have a chance to answer whatever the Bulldogs do, but so far, captains have only produced runs back in the 3rd inning. Laura Hernandez, a big single in that 6th inning. That would help lead to tie up the ball game, as her pinch runner Coward would be the most recent to score for either team. Sarah Metzer on deck, Chassie Rains in the hole. Curran. One away.
Curran making every play that's come to her so far today. Even the big game-changing ones. It could be, this ball game could be over had she dropped a ball out there earlier this game.
Sarah Metzer is already one of your heroes. Game-tying 2-run double back in the 6th inning. She's 2 for 3 today, and she can single-handedly give the Bulldogs their first lead of the day with a ball grooved over that outfield wall. Count 1-1. So Metzer and then Rains. Again, your 6, 7, and 8 hitters were due up this inning. If you go to a 10th, you get to see the top of the order for the Bulldogs again. If you don't get to see them here, two and one.
Tough miss there for Alger. Saw Wallette earlier in this game not get that call either. Got to bring it up just slightly.
A big cut. Metzer was looking to give the Bulldogs their first lead of the day. They have another chance.
Well, I love these big swings from both sides. Both of these clubs have put up a lot of runs so far this week by just taking care of business, choosing good pitches, swinging at strikes.
That's a foul ball, luckily for CNU, as even Carmichael could not get there, despite her range.
It's going to be important for both offenses here to stay settled into their at-bats. Don't get too eager. Keep your timing. Pitchers have the advantage here for sure, or at least in my opinion. Bit of a pressure cooker situation.
That's with base hits her last 2 at-bats. Another 2-2 offering. Not chasing that one. Able to lay off it. Full count. And Jamie Martin got the start for CNU. Sydney Wallette got the start for TLU. Since then, we've seen Kate Alger and Amanda White in relief. Metzer just fighting off pitches until she can find another one she likes. Punch it out opposite field. That's a foul ball by all of maybe 4 inches. That's a break for CNU.
I'd also argue that's a bit of a break for Metzer in the box there. That might have been a catchable ball. The Mets are going to get another opportunity here to barrel one up.
Again, the payoff pitch with 1 out, nobody on. Tied ball game in the top of the 9th. And here's the second chance for the captains. Alger has it. Foul territory, 2 away.
Mets are not able to capitalize. Still a little bit too far ahead, not letting Alger's pitches travel. She's going to throw a bit more junk than what we saw from Jamie Martin earlier in today's contest.
It's Bring up Chastity Range when she was retired in the 6th. That was the first of now 9 straight batters retired by Alger in this defense. See if she can end that string.
Saw some quick 1, 2, 3 innings from both sides. Hitters doing a much better job of settling into their at-bats, forcing the opposing pitcher to come for them.
1-1.
Alger relying a bit more today on the swing and miss strike. What we saw from her other performances where she was a bit more precise in hitting her spots, keeping it out of reach so far for the Bulldogs.
Chasing that one from Alger. And Chastity was last year's Elite 90 Award winner for top academic resume. For a competitor here in this final week. That was after Deanna Hernandez of TLU won it in that championship year of 2019. They went back-to-back. This year, an engineer at WPI won a 4-way tiebreaker for the award.
And Lindsay Ambrosino from WPI.
Great shortstop, electrical engineering major.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-2. Got her. There are no easy parts of this lineup for the Bulldogs, but Kate Alger has now retired 10 straight with that defense behind her. And you've heard it. It's still true. Captains can walk it off here in the 9th.
Amanda White still in the circle here for the TLU defense. In relief for Sydney Wallette. And she has had an impressive couple innings here. Bottom of the 9th inning, CNU seeing if they can figure out a way to push one across. After 2 runs in the 6th, have tied it up for us between the Bulldogs and the Captains.
Just a ho-hum game so far, right?
CNU has chipped away at the deficit in terms of the hit discrepancy between these two programs. TLU still leading with 7 hits on the day. Captain's hoping to close that gap right now.
Griever's been great with her glove, now trying to come through with her bat. 0 for 3 today. Most recently fouled out, back to the catcher. And again, they know what's on the line here. You're about to get back to that really dangerous part of the Bulldogs lineup that's been fairly quiet so far. Griever sends a charge in this one. If it's fair, ball game. A walk-off home run from Brooke Griever will punch the Captain's ticket into the championship series tomorrow. The sophomore sends the Captains to 45-1 here in 2022.
Ooh, and Lincoln, you knew that this Captain's squad, this Captain's offense had the pop to do it. This is the one team left in this tournament that really has that home run, long ball potential. They regularly rely on it, but that's a heartbreaker there for the Bulldogs.
Brooke Griever 0 for 3 on the day, comes up and grooves one. 9th home run on the year for the sophomore. CNU has still only lost once as they end the season for TLU with a blast over the right field wall.
And what a time to send your 9th home run out of the park.
We're down to 3 teams playing softball here in Salem. The Captains, who have still only lost once, will step into the championship series, one of your last 2 teams playing softball in Division III. And someone again will have to hand them 2 losses in a span of 2 days to deny them their first national championship. So with that, we put a pin in things. The Captains will await their opponent It'll either be the Thunder of Trine, currently 2-0 this week, or perhaps an upset-minded group of Vikings of Barry who are 2-1. That is our next game. Thunder and Vikings. Trine will only need to win once to square off starting tomorrow against CNU. We step aside with our coverage here on NCAA.com. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. But what a season for the Bulldogs. 3 straight years in the championship. But today the captains improved to 3-0 this week to Salem and are among your favorites to claim it all.